Good afternoon. I have a great resource for you guys today. This is Emily from Readiness Counseling. Hello, Emily.
Hello, everyone.
So she is a licensed therapist, and I have a question for her that I think she would answer that I hear from moms very often. As a birth doula, I work with moms in pregnancy, birth, and visit them postpartum. And many moms feel alone and just no one's caring for them. They had such great care at the end of their pregnancy and even during birth, and then they're sent home and they're suddenly adjusting to no sleep, this new baby, trying to figure out what to do, and usually nobody's visiting and they don't feel like seeing anybody because maybe their hair is crazy. All that kind of stuff is really hard. And so I have moms that are trying to figure out, am I depressed? Am I not depressed? Should I see a counselor? And what's going to happen? Like what a visit looks like and what kind of levels they have. And will I get reported to CPS? Will somebody think I really am crazy? Just kind of all those questions swirling through their heads. And they tend to just stay alone, Emily, instead of talking to people about it, especially in American culture. We don't talk about postpartum and how rough it can be when we're alone. So that's my question. If you could answer that for a minute, kind of what would that postpartum mom do? How would she know if she could get help from you, if she needs help from you? And then what's going to happen to her if she does reach out to you?
I'm so glad you're asking me this, Rebecca, because probably the number one question we hear from postpartum moms is what I'm feeling normal, right? Especially first-time moms, but not necessarily. Sometimes second time, we all know every pregnancy, every kid, every mom is different. And so even if it's your third baby and you're like, whoa, I don't feel like myself. Where is this emotion or thought coming from? That is a perfect opportunity to, first of all, tell someone you trust. And second of all, reach out for help. Okay. There is just no shame in wondering. And one thing that we pride ourselves here at Readiness Counseling is we are not here. We're not in the business of stringing people along. Okay. My schedule is chock full. I'm a mom of 4 myself and running this business. We have other counselors here that we have busy lives outside of sessions as well. And so if you don't need our help, we will not give it to you and you will not pay for it. Okay. So it's a very safe, friendly thing. It can be a difficult step, but it is a brave one to be able to reach out and just ask for an assessment. And so a lot of times moms will just say, I'm not sure if this is normal, but I think I just want to talk to somebody about it. And I just want to reassure you that you can reach out, and there's an assessment called the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale. It's 10 questions. Many moms are, I hope, screened at their postpartum visit or right after the birth of their baby. So a lot of times we use that, but we don't use it long enough to be able to kind of catch some of the changes and these hormones, these biological changes, and then just the change of becoming a mother, right? There's a huge identity shift in ourselves and our relationship with our friends, our family, our partner. And so a lot of times we do find that it is a contextual issue, meaning I'm not getting enough sleep. I just had, I was grumpy and I snapped at my husband. He's frustrated because he has a lot of work going on and my baby keeps crying, right? Like there's a lot of that are just new mom growing pains, but it doesn't mean you don't need encouragement. It doesn't mean you don't need to learn some new coping skills that can really help you maximize and benefit and make the most of this season in your life. We don't want you to stay in survival mode for very long. We want you to thrive. We want you to bond with your baby. We want you to enjoy your baby. We want you to welcome and embrace this new identity so that you can transition well when it's, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks after you've given birth, you start to feel a little more like yourself, that you're actually enjoying this season of life, right? We're also not in the business of taking babies away from their moms, ever, okay? Ever. And I really want you to hear me on that. It is often a common fear of moms to not reach out for help because maybe they've had some really scary or what we'd call intrusive thoughts about either self-harm or harming their baby. About 80% of moms will experience some kind of baby blues and intrusive thoughts. It's even been quoted as high as 99% will at some point have some kind of harmful thought regarding their baby, which is really just a reflection of your love for this child and all these new fears that you've never had to worry about before. Okay. As long as that fear, as long as those thoughts are unwanted, right? In other words, if those thoughts are scary to you, that is exactly the marker we see between a mom who just needs some help and something else that is a completely different diagnosis of what we would call postpartum psychosis, okay? Postpartum psychosis is what you see on the news. These are the mental psychotic breaks of someone not in her right mind that most of you are not at all at risk for. Okay.
So it's not common then.
Correct. Postpartum psychosis occurs in about 1 to 2 per every 1,000 moms. Okay. It's very uncommon. I have treated moms with postpartum psychosis, and so it is treatable as well, but it is considered an emergency situation. In other words, that's where your baby should not be taken away, but we do want to instead bring people in to make sure you feel safe, your baby feels safe, your partner feels understood. And so we just link arms with other experts and make sure that you're really well surrounded and taken care of. Again, that's extreme. It's very unusual, but those are the stories that make the news, which makes moms feel afraid that that might be them.
Right. So it's common then to feel those kind of intrusive, like, what the heck, but I'm thinking something weird. That's what you're saying is common. We just don't talk about it. Because it sounds weird, but even for myself, I remember multiple times after my different births having that thought of, I just want to drop the baby. Like, I just don't want to care. Someone else can care for it. Put it in a box. Like, it was interesting. It always did scare me. Like, whoa, Rebecca, what are you thinking? And I would think, you're crazy. Like, you need help. But then I was really scared to get help. I was scared to tell even my husband that I had these thoughts that would scare me because I didn't want to act on those. And I was afraid a counselor would like lock me away or something. And so I've kept them to myself. And as the years have gone on and I've talked about it, I realized it was just common. And it is a form of depression, but it's common because I didn't want to act on them. They scared me, but those thoughts were still there. And no one ever talks about that.
This is why it's so important to get treatment from someone who knows what they're doing. And that's why it was critical for everyone at Readiness Counseling to be specifically trained in perinatal mental health. Your regular mental health care provider does not necessarily know the difference between what's a psychotic thought or what's a postpartum depression thought, okay? So it's really vital to make sure that if you're seeking help, you know what they've been trained in, who they're able to treat, and how they go about treating that person. So again, we're not in the business of separating moms and babies. You are not crazy, okay? And this is 100% treatable. It is definitely unsettling, and most people keep silent about it. Unfortunately, shoving that thought down and keeping silent about it is exactly what increases the anxiety around it. It increases the shame around it, and it's only going to perpetuate the issue instead of actually finding somewhere safe to talk about it, to get tools to help you through this time. And it is 100% treatable.
Awesome. And that's good to hear. I love to hear people are starting to talk about it. Another question though, what if I'm not quite brave enough, let's just put it that way, and I don't want to come in and see you in person? Do you guys do any kind of like virtual counseling? Do you charge the same? Is it like on Zoom? Is it safe? Can someone else get video of this? Like, I don't know. Is that even an option?
Absolutely. So right now with COVID circumstances, that really launched our telehealth therapy program. We're going to continue that indefinitely. So as long as you're in the state of Tennessee, you can receive one-on-one counseling very similar to just watching a YouTube video where you're interacting. I'm sure by now most of you have done some kind of online Zoom or something like that. We use a HIPAA compliant virtual setting, so nobody else can hack that link. It's not recorded. It doesn't go anywhere. As soon as we close the window, it disappears completely. And so we make sure that you feel safe and secure. Also, we can have you sign a waiver to invite anyone else to that session. So let's say that you want me to talk to your doula. You want me to, after our session, report back to your postpartum care provider. If it's okay with you, after you have only signed off on it, we can link arms with them. So then you don't have to feel like, gosh, now I finally got brave enough to tell you what I was thinking. I don't want to have to tell my OB. I don't want to have to tell my midwife. I don't want to have to tell my postpartum doula or even my husband. If that's something that you need help with in just transitioning or helping them understand your care, we're more than happy to, again, have you sign a waiver for that and give us limited permission to be able to share something if that's up to you and something that you would want us to do.
Awesome. I've learned so much today. One, that those intrusive thoughts I had after baby were actually common, and they did fade. They did not last very long, but they did come and surprise me and fade. So I'm glad to know I am common and with kind of lots of other moms. And it's nice to hear that I have an option if I don't feel like coming in, that I could do a virtual option with you as well, and that it is secure and it is safe. So awesome. Any of you guys watching this video, sounds like you need to go check out Ready Nest Counseling. And Emily, where do they go to find that?
Absolutely. If you have any questions at all about anything that we've talked about today, please reach out to us through our website, readynestcounseling.com. There's a little inquiry form, and every day we get inquiries from moms who are like, I'm not sure if this is for me, but please contact me. And we're more than happy to follow up with you and see if this is a fit, see if this is something that works for you. And it doesn't mean that you are committed to a certain amount of time. That's something else that separates us from other therapists. We're not going to string you along and have you, week to week for the rest of your life. We're here to help you in this season of your life. And once you're better, we're happy to let you fly.
Oh, it's a lot of hope there. I love that message of hope, because so many times get down in that depression and you feel like you're alone and feel like everybody's against you. So it's nice to feel like you can reach out to Ready Nest Counseling and somebody is on your side. Somebody just ready to listen and to give you a second and to say, yeah, that's normal. What kind of help do you want with this? And I love just that thought that they have this option in the community. So thank you for joining us today, Emily.
Thank you so much.